Hey campers, it's Curry again. Just bringing you some more Pokemon TCG live action. I know in the last video that I recorded with DBN, we featured a few decks for new players trying to start the game and how you can kind of get your feet wet in the Pokemon TCG. And I wanted to bring you a video kind of showcasing one of those decks. So we've got an updated version of the Gholdengo EX list that we previously featured. There have been a few small changes to this list, namely in that we have removed that Rapid Strike Melodic in favor of beefing up this Palkia line a little bit. The Palkia V-Star is kind of a big, strong feature card in this deck, and it serves a much more important role than maybe we would have previously thought, as far as being a backup attacker, as well as allowing us to make plays with our Radiant Greninja. Other than that, we've also kind of changed the trainers up a little bit, lowered this worker count slightly, up the Avery as a new addition to kind of mess with decks. Gardevoir's had a bit of a resurgence. It messes with Charizard a little bit, especially when we get into later parts of the game where we can make some more tricky plays with cards like Cross Switcher that allow us to gust up an unnecessary target, something like a Manaphy that your opponent doesn't necessarily want to have in the active. Then you dump an Avery on them. They have to discard key Pokemon off their bench, and we're able to kind of keep things going from there. Other than that, everything's kind of just par for the course. We still have our 4 of Pokestop that we can combo with our worker to kind of get this big 1-2 punch and maybe see a ton of extra cards in a turn, in tandem with our Gholdengo EX's coin bonus ability. Another minor change is instead of running 4 of these 70 HP Gimme Ghouls, we are now running 1 of the Call for Family Gimme Ghoul also, just to give us the chance to use that attack in case we get stuck with a dead hand with a Gimme Ghoul with nothing to really show with it. But other than that, it's still basically the same deck that we were working with previously, so I think we can go ahead and jump into some games. So one of the cool things about this deck is that it is both fairly straightforward to use and simultaneously has some kind of tips and tricks up its sleeve that you may not immediately identify. So there's a bit of a learning curve, and it's kind of rewarding to have that in a deck where you can play it over and over and over again and eventually discover things as you go along. So we're going to go first on this first game here. And look at that. We started with that Call for Family Gimme Ghoul. And fortunately, we have our Battle VIP Pass. One of the nice things about this deck is that when we hit our rotation here in the coming months, we are going to have access to Buddy Poffin instead, so the deck will still be able to function with that. But for now, I think we are going to drop our Battle VIP Pass and look to fill our bench. So we see all of our Gimme Ghouls are here. Let's go ahead and look at all of our Pokemon. Manaphy's here. We have both our Palkias. We have Radiant Greninja. All of our Gholdengos are present. Looks like we may have prized an Irida. Yep. So we got 1 Irida in the prizes. Run Cross Switcher in the prizes. 1 Pokestop in our prizes. 1 Water Energy. That's a good idea for our prize cards. Let's go back. We'll go ahead and grab our Radiant Greninja, and we will grab a backup Gimme Ghoul. Get things rolling. Our opponent didn't seem to like how long we took to look at our prize cards, but it's important to kind of do that initial prize check and figure out what you have prized and kind of what information you need to move forward with. Let's go ahead and drop a concealed cards before we do our nest ball. Again, just kind of really trying to see what we have to work with, have all of that information available to us before we make our decisions. With this Pidgey here, it's more than likely a Charizard deck. We can grab Palkia to hopefully try to set up that turn 2 Palkia V-Star play. So with that in mind, we want to make sure we try to have 3 Water Energy in our discard pile to take advantage of that Star Portal V-Star ability. So let's dump another Water here. Grab a 3rd Water, grab a Metal Energy, have ourselves set up for either a Make It Rain attack next turn, or the ability to transition and use that Moonlight Shuriken to take out 2 bench Pokemon. Last but not least, I think we can go ahead and try to rip a Pokestop, maybe try to get another search card to get a 3rd Gimme Ghoul on our bench. Unfortunately, lost a Gimme Ghoul there. Don't necessarily want to Ultra Ball yet, because we can save that for our Palkia V-Star, so let's just go ahead and pass it over to our opponent. See if I was correct about this being a Charizard deck. Yep, Arven's a pretty good indicator, although you can kind of see Arven in a lot of decks that utilize Pidgeot. It's just a nice card that helps you set up. You'll grab things such as for a Sealstone. In this case, it's a Rigid Band, so this actually might be a control list. Arbok. So yeah, it looks like we're up against some sort of Arbok EX control deck where they're going to try to limit our hand size and then discard all the cards remaining in our hand. Oh, that Grabber's going to put our Gholdengo back. Grabber's a card you don't see very often, but lets you look at your opponent's hand, grab any Pokemon you find there, put it out on the bottom of their deck. And that Call for Family, probably just going to grab another Pidgey, another Ekans. So our Avery can't really do anything here, since they do not have more than 3 bench Pokemon at present. So we know we have a Gholdengo on the bottom of our deck. So kind of want to shuffle it ahead of time. I'm thinking that I actually want to go with that Palkia V-Star attack if we can. Let's do our concealed cards first before we decide if we want to Pokestop or not. Get some guaranteed draw here. That Manaphy's not very useful. That's some discard fodder. Go ahead and Pokestop. Hope we don't hit anything too good. The Worker is kind of unfortunate, but we can live with it. Let's go ahead and get another Gimmighoul out here. And it's Avery first. Hopefully, the reason for doing this is we wanted to see if we could draw into one of our bigger Pokemon before we use our Ultra Ball. So now we can go ahead and use that Ultra Ball, throw away the Manaphy, throw away an energy, since we have energy to spare, and we can grab one of our Gholdengos to get things set up. Start drawing some extra cards here. Evolve there. Go ahead and utilize that coin bonus ability to draw an extra card. And the reason we don't evolve our active here is because we're planning to retreat this Gimmighoul. That's one of the other advantages of the Call for Family Gimmighoul, is that he only has a 1 retreat cost. Let's go ahead and drop our water energy here. Retreat into our Greninja. Play our Palkia V-Star. Use that Star Portal ability to get 3 water energy back. Attach them all to our Radiant Greninja. And do a Moonlight Shuriken. And our opponent just concedes on the spot. They know we're taking out both of their attackers. They don't really have much of a hand to speak of. So let's just move on, see if we can't find another game. Got a different opponent for this game. Let's see what we can do. One feature that we don't have on this TCG Live client that I actually think would be really cool is the type of thing that you could import from Pixelborn, where you have a relative idea of the matchup that your opponent has going into the game. So you can make some more informed decisions, such as whether or not you want to go first or second. So we know we're going second here. Obviously, we only have 1 basic. Let's go ahead and put our Gimmighoul down. Thankfully, again, we've got a Battle VIP pass here, and it is Chien Pao. So this is kind of a rematch of the recent Dortmund regional finals from last weekend. In that instance, Gimmighoul did not come out on top, but let's see if we can change that. Our opponent has a nice setup with a Battle VIP pass. They have this Iron Bundle, which allows them to kind of move things out of the way in case they want to try to get 2 prize knockouts. It's kind of Chien Pao's whole MO, is they just want to go 2 prize, 2 prize, 2 prize, and win the game that way. I don't see a Radiant Greninja here yet, and our opponent didn't do much else. So let's check our prizes again really quick. Looks like we've prized 2 Gimmighouls. That's unfortunate. Got an Irida in there again. Got a VIP pass. A Cross Switcher. 1 Superior Energy Retrieval. And nope, a regular energy retrieval is right there. And then last thing, nope, all our energy. Okay. So we'll grab our Radiant Greninja again. And let's grab another Gimmighoul. And this time, just in case, because this Baxcalibur does have the potential to accelerate a lot of water energies, we may want to go ahead and Nest Ball for Manaphy. Want to see what our concealed cards gives us first, though. So again, we dump water. Got a nice Pokestop. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw that out there. We've got a Super Rod in hand in case we mill anything really important. Ooh, that's a rough one. That's a rough one. We're going to deny our opponent this Pokestop by playing Worker. Nice, we got the Palkia, so we don't necessarily need to worry about super rotting that back in quite yet. The Gholdengo will want it a little bit later, but for now, let's Nest Ball, get that Manaphy out here. You can see we've got no basic Pokemon left. We'll grab Manaphy, so we're protecting ourselves from that Moonlight Shuriken, should it come out. And we will drop a Water here. Unfortunately, we've got kind of a dead hand. And we're going to go for that continuous coin toss. One heads, one tails. That didn't really do a ton for us, but it put us in a position where now we do only have to discard 2 energy to knock out this Chien-Pao if we have a Gholdengo EX. But I'm thinking our angle here may be to send up Palkia and go for an attack with that V-Star. Depends on if our opponent benches any more Pokemon. Have to see what they do from here. But they may just take the easy knockout. Got the Bibarel. We know one of the other cards in their hand is another Water Energy. That Iono actually should help us out quite a bit. Our hand was pretty dead. Looking a little bit better. At least we have a supporter for turn next time. Opponent goes back, grabs 2 Water Energy again. They don't have back Excalibur yet. If there's a chance that we can knock out... Oh, nope, there it is. Darn. I was hoping that we could get our Moonlight Shuriken set up and prevent that from happening, but... Instead, it looks like we are going to... Oh, they're going to knock us out with the Iron Bundle. I've actually never seen one of these attack before. Interesting. That's our opponent just trying to deny us the 2-prizer, but they did have to burn a Superior Energy Retrieval to do it, and a Frigibax. And again, they're doing this all for a 1-prize knockout, so maybe we'll be in good shape here. Interestingly, our opponent has set it up so they only have this 1 back Excalibur in play, so if we did get an opportunity to boss KO it, we actually would be in a really good position. This is Sweet to Lightning. Got a Stadium in hand already. We have energy to use concealed cards. Well, let's just push this and see what happens. Kind of an awkward situation. Drop our Earthen Vessel, thin our deck out a little bit. Get the concealed cards going, get some more cards, more info, more resources. Trying to find an Ultra Ball and or a Super Rod here. It's an Ultra Ball. You can dump these dead VIP passes. Losing a Palkia V-Star is not the end of the world. Not ideal. Worker first. There's that Super Rod. So we can go ahead and get back our Gimme Ghoul. We're probably not going to need this Gholdengo actually. So I think we want to grab the Palkia and the V-Star so that we have full access to all of those this game. We'll Nest Ball back out our Gimme Ghoul. Ultra Ball. Grab the Gholdengo. And now because he's in the active spot when we evolve here, we're going to use that coin bonus and we'll draw 1 extra card in addition to the base 1. So we get a total of 2. And attach. Earthen Vessel, dump this water, get 2 more energy out of the deck. And that should set us up just right to make it rain. Take our 1-prize knockout here. Now we are probably going to get return KO'd, but we do have the follow-up to be able to KO our opponent's active, presumably the Chien-Pao. with either a Palkia or a Gholdengo. Since Irida would be able to grab us our Palkia V-Star, and then an item card, we can get an Ultra Ball to go search the Gholdengo, and kind of move on from there. Have to see what we do here. So our opponent's going to need 5 energy here to knock us out, which they got off the Superior plus Shivery Chill. So right now our Palkia V-Star would be doing 60 plus 20 for each bench Pokemon. So we're looking at a total of 220 damage, which is enough to knock out the Qianpao. For some reason they're fully loading this. I guess they're just trying to dump cards so they can use Industrious Incisors. But I would think that they would want to put this backup Qianpao down and put energy on it. Maybe they're going to make a play where they retreat here and use another Shivery Chill. Have to see. Nope. They just go all in on the damage. So I think we're actually going to be able to make a little bit of a cute play here. They still have 1 energy here to attack with, but we will push up our Gimmighoul in case we top deck Gholdengo, but we're going to actually target down this Baxcalibur. Did not draw the Gholdengo. So we will Irida, grab our Palkia V-Star, and we'll grab a Cross Switcher. So even though we burned our supporter for turn, we have the ability to gust up that undesirable Pokemon to the active spot and knock it out. I still want to use concealed cards here, so I'm going to grab that water, grab a metal, use the concealed cards to put the water back in the discard pile. Get another Palkia down. And this evens up our prize cards so that we are no longer on this awkward 5 prize card line. This lets us go 1-1 and then knock out 2 prizers to win the game. So we use our Star Portal, get 2 waters on this active Palkia, and then power up this bench one. And this is kind of the power behind having 2 of these Palkia V-Stars available, so that we can attack with 2 of them and set them both up off of that single Star Portal ability. We're going to hold on to this metal so that we have a guaranteed energy to concealed cards with next turn. I don't really want to prioritize getting the Gholdengo out. All the resources in our hand are pretty valuable. So we'll just Subspace Swell, and we're lined up for a nice boss play here next turn. And we'll just have to see how our opponent responds. But we should be able to just go 2 prizer here and end up winning the game. They can't take a knockout on this turn unless they cross switcher or boss and utilize this Qianpao to take a 1 prize knockout, which is something that we're more or less okay with. Because we know that they did Super Rod back in the Frigibax. That's their 3rd Superior. And we just have to look where are they loading up the energy. They're going to put the Frigibax back in the deck. And so again, because they're not taking a knockout here, we should be free and clear to just boss up the Suicune, knock it out, and then our opponent has to take a 2 prize knockout to really stay in the race, or they have to take that knockout with a 2 prizer, in which case we can just knock out whatever it is with a Gholdengo, or potentially even this backup Palkia since they've loaded their bench up completely again. But that's just a pass. Roxanne's not going to do a ton for us here. Let's just concealed cards. Hopefully get something that we can just discard. Yeah, we don't need this Irida or Nest Ball in this scenario. We can grab Gholdengo. Use coin bonus. And then we know that we want to just go ahead and boss up a 2 prizer. The only potentially dangerous one in this scenario. Looks to be the Suicune. I'm not too concerned about being one-hit KO'd by the Qianpao. Those are much easier to knock out with Gholdengo because they're weak to metal. So we'll do our Subspace Swell, take a knockout, go down to 2 prizes. The one concern we have here is maybe getting Ionode or Roxanne down to a low hand size, but between Greninja and Gholdengo, we should be okay, just because as long as we hit a superior energy retrieval, we'll be able to take a knockout with Gholdengo. They lost a Excalibur, but they hit an Ultra Ball, so they should be okay since they super auted it back in. That counter catcher could have been scary. Maybe try to stick us somewhere. But my opponent also might actually just be running out of energy. Most of these Qianpao lists play 9 energy. Sometimes 8, sometimes 10. Also depends on if they play Iron Hands. They may have Lightnings in there. And again, we need 5 energy for a Hail Blade to take a knockout here. And so even when they do this, they're now totally out of superior energy retrieval. So I don't think they have the ability to take a knockout on a 2-prizer, but here we're going to be able to just make it rain, recover all these energy, and blow something up. Like this Qianpao that is conveniently sitting active for us. Nope. Nice top deck. And we'll go ahead and drop Superior. 2, 3, 4. And we could do the cute play, grab more energy, and just make the damage number go higher. But let's just be efficient about this, take this knockout, and move on. And so I think our opponent made a little bit of an error there by only having the single Excalibur on the bench, but that's just the way the game goes sometimes. So I hope this gives you a little bit of a better idea of some of the ins and outs of this deck, kind of how it can work, and some of the alternate lines of play that you get opened up to by having extra resources added in the form of that Palkia V-Star and Radiant Greninja. We'll be in the comments if you have any questions. And, thanks for camping. We'll see you later.